Japan has a huge soft power on the international stage. After the war, the economy absolutely boomed, and with financial security came waves after waves of creative impotence. Manga and anime are perhaps just two of the most well-known ones. All over the world, people associate Japan with being cool. Sumo wrestlers, kimonos, geishas, all the electronic stuff, all the weird stuff. And that's all true. It became the coolest country in the world. And therefore, is there any wonders the books I'm about to review has lasted this long on Sunday Times best-selling list? Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Harry's Book Cafe. Today we're going to do a quick review of Chrisbroad's Bored in Japan. Now, it's a book that's been on Sunday Times best-selling list for quite a long time, and it's somewhat surprising because the book is actually a non-fiction book and almost like a travel guide that ends up for such a long time on Times bestseller is quite unusual. But what better place to actually review this book than Shibuya crossing here in Tokyo to review about a book of Japan. If you have seen my previous channel on the plane to China, I tried to do the 12-hour readathon of the abode in Japan. Ultimately, I failed because I've fallen asleep. So this will be the full review. I actually finished reading the book yesterday. This is only my second day here in Japan. I managed to finish it. So I'll do a full in-depth review. So the book is written by a British author, Chrisbroad. Now he's a very successful YouTuber. He's been in Japan since 2012, started as a teacher and started his YouTube channel by the same name, Abode in Japan. He has, I believe, around about 2.6 million followers now. So the book is essentially the distillation of all the videos, hundreds and hundreds of videos that he's made about life in Japan. And the book is, as I said, pretty much a distillation. What do I think about the book? It's absolutely phenomenally funny. There are so many cultural misunderstandings when he first came to Japan. It is a difficult country, perhaps, to really get used to. And it will take a couple of years to actually understand the culture, the references, and the language especially. That's the most important thing. So the book is basically a collection of cultural misunderstandings, especially in the beginning part of the book. And there are so many moments that make me laugh out loud. It is a book perhaps you shouldn't read in the London Underground for fear of bursting out loud, laugh out loud. The main strength of this particular book is there are so many rich characters, most of them Japanese. They're absolutely hilarious. I mean, he was a teacher in one of the rural, he got allocated to a rural area in Japan to be as an English teacher. The school were full of English teachers who were not able to speak English at all, or who were able speaking quite fluently, but chooses not to. And there are teachers who are obsessed with Beatle. He's British, so they keep asking him about Beatle references and British food. And yeah, so it's just the characters is perhaps one of the biggest strengths of this book, alongside having a wicked sense of humor. The characters are rich, really rich in flavor. They're not two-dimensional, they're really, really funny. Hilarious. The other strength about this particular book is he's able to actually depict the Japanese characters really, really well, characteristics of the people. So the books were full of anecdotes. So I'll give you a quick, for instance. Japanese people are known for their reserve, their disciplines and being stern, right? And that is absolutely true. However, there are events throughout the year where Japanese people can actually let their hairs down. And one of those events were the work party, where, like after work drink, where, except here in Japan, they are quite formal. So anyway, so his school had so he attended the first school party, the work party, for all the teachers. And after a couple of drinks, after a couple of beers, he described this female teacher who were really, really strict, really stern, unsmiling, not even glancing his way normally at work. After a couple of drinks, this stern woman has turned into basically a crazy woman. So she ended up with drinks after drinks and laughing, rolling on the floor, literally rolling on the floor in one of the drinking holes. After that, they went to a karaoke bar where she sung pretty much the whole night through with off-key songs, you know, completely letting her hairs down. And it's so different to her normal everyday characters, you know. You wonder if the Japanese people, if they always have these two personalities with them. Do they always have this personality with them all the time? You know, their workplace is quite stressful, so they suppresses their sort of inner child so much that the inner child can only be released in a sort of informal drinking karaoke sort of environment. And here's what's funny about this. So the woman's completely turned into a monster, right? And the next morning, Chris thought, okay, finally the ice is broke after so long. He wanted to say hi to this teacher, and he saw her on the corridor walking towards him. This is the next day when they're back in school. And she completely ignored him. Her face is expressionless, no smile, nothing. Went back to the normal self. And that's what I wonder, whether or not there's two personalities. No, for all of them. I mean, there are characters he met along the way who are crazy from the get-go, but most of them are quite reserved and only become crazy after a couple of drinks.
So apart from all the laughs and games and jokes and funny and stuff, the book also depicts some really serious stuff facing the Japanese education system. The most urgent, perhaps, is the prevalence of bullying amongst the Japanese schools. According to one statistic, 46% of the Japanese pupils, students, faces being bullied in school. The problem also comes from the teachers' reluctance or belittling of the actual problem. So most of the time the teacher doesn't really take it seriously and do something about it, as a result of which many students has committed suicide. So much so that the Japanese actually passed a law forcing the school and teachers to actually take actions when this happens. But Chrisbroad, the author of the book, he was placed in a unique position to see whether or not whether the law has been taken seriously. I mean, the teacher tried, but even in his own school, one of the, I think, year 5 students actually jumped out of 5th-story windows in the attempt to end his life. Fortunately, he lived, but you know, the desperate action really spoke to the desperations that many students in classroom faces. So we come to the end of this video now. In conclusion, this is an absolutely fantastic book. I really truly enjoyed it. It made me laugh out loud on so many occasions. So if you are interested in the Japanese culture, its people, the food, and many other quirky things, then please get this book. You won't go wrong. You will get a couple loves in there as a bargain as well. Anyway guys, that's the end of this video. I do hope that you have enjoyed it. If you do, please give it a thumb up and subscribe. It really does help a new channel like mine to grow. Thank you very much. See you next time. Cheerio.